On this video we are going to see how we can use a formula to find the solution for a quadratic equation. Okay, so we know that a quadratic equation looks like this. Okay, so any quadratic equation looks like ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0. Okay, and we already did factorization, so we did factorization, and also we did completing the square, to find the solution. Okay, but now we're gonna see how we can use a formula. Okay, so using a formula. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you what the formula is, and then we are going to derive the formula. Okay, so we're gonna use the formula in one or two questions, but then we need to see where this formula is coming from. Okay, so we're gonna say if we have that a squared plus bx plus c equal 0, then now is the formula x is equal to minus b plus or minus, you know where this plus or minus is coming from, is square root of b squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c, and all that divided by 2a. Okay, and that is the one that we call quadratic formula. Now you can see that the formula depends, or the answer for x depends on b, a, and c. A, b, and c are coming from here. Okay, so this is a, this is b, and this is c. So all you have to do is just substitute these three values in here, simplify, and that will give you the answer. The good thing about the formula is that the formula works for all questions. It doesn't matter whether you have a money, non-money, if it can be factorized or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, the formula works for all of them. Now, the reason why we don't sometimes use the formula is because using the formula sometimes is longer than doing factorization or doing completing the square. Okay, but in any case, the formula works all the time. Okay, let's do some example, and then you'll see how it works. So we're gonna say example. Okay, number one. Let's say that you have, let's do a money. Okay, so x squared plus 3x minus 4 equal 0. Let's say that you have that. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so in this exercise, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to -4. Okay, so if you want, until you get familiar, you're gonna write the coefficients. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to -4. All right, so you're gonna write a, b, c until you get very, very familiar with the whole thing. Okay, and then the formula say that x, so therefore we're gonna say x is equal to, now we're gonna substitute, so minus b, so it's gonna be minus 3, and then plus or minus a square root of b square. Okay, so it's a b square, so it's 3 square, which is 9, so you're gonna write it here, 3 square, and then minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, and then multiplied by c, which is -4. Okay, and then all divided by 2 times a, which in this case is equal to 1. All right, all what I did is just substitute a, b, c back into the formula. And then we're going to simplify. Okay, so this is going to be x is equal to -3 plus or minus. And then to simplify this, you can use a calculator. So we're going to do 3 square, take away 4 times 1 times -4. That will give you 25. Okay, so that will give you 25. And then divide that by 2. And this time we were lucky because we can simplify the square root of 25. Okay, most of the time you won't be able to do that, but yeah, let's take advantage of that. Okay, so I'm going to have -3 plus or minus 5 and then divide by 2. Okay, so therefore we're going to have -3 minus 5 is -8, and -8 divided by 2 is -4. And then you're gonna have -3 plus 5, so it's 2, divided by 2 is 1. That's it. Okay, so using the formula was very, very easy. Okay, it's just a matter of substituting properly and simplifying. Okay, and then if you substitute and simplify carefully and properly, then you're gonna get the right answer. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, this time let's do a monic. Question 2. All right, let's say that we have okay, 4x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, for this one we cannot do factorization probably, but we can also do completing the square. Okay, but we're not going to do them. We are going to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so here we go. So in this case, a is equal to 4, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to -3. And then the formula. So when doing this question, you should probably have the formula in front of you all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna write the formula here. Until you remember this by heart. This is b squared minus 4ac. Okay. And then I'm going to do this substitution. Okay, so therefore I'm going to say that x is equal to, okay, so we got minus b, which is minus 5, and then plus or minus a square root of, the square root go all the way up to here, so you need to cover all this. Okay, so it's b squared, so it's going to be 25 minus 4 times a, which is 4, and then times c, which is -3. And then this line go all the way up to the end. And then 2 times 4. Okay, so make sure that when you do this, you write it properly. So make sure that you do the square root, and the square root go all the way. It doesn't stop in there. Okay, all the way. And also this line have to go all the way from here to the end. Okay, so if you don't do that, then it's wrong. Okay, and then we're gonna simplify. Okay, so that will give you -5 plus or minus the square root of all that in the inside. Okay, let's do that. So we do 25 take away 4 times -3, so that will give you 73. So that is the square root of 73 and all divided by 8. Okay, and we cannot simplify that, so I mean that is going to be the answer, unless the question say find the answer correct to 1 decimal place. If that is the case, then you know what to do. Okay, let's do another one. One more, and then we'll do something else. Okay, question 3 say 7x squared minus 2x minus let's say minus 10, why not, equal 0. All right, so let's do the same thing. So we're gonna say a equals 7, b is equal to -2, and c is equal to -10. Okay, and we're gonna use the formula, so we're gonna say x is equal to, and what you should do, you should put this line straight away in front of the equal, and then we're gonna do this. So the formula say minus b, so it's gonna be, the formula say minus b, so it's gonna be minus 2, which is just 2, then plus or minus square root of 2 squared, which is 4, and then take away, and just following the formula, take away 4 times 7, and then times -10, and then all divided by 2 times 7, right? And then we continue with this. So then we're gonna have 2 plus or minus, and then we're gonna do what we have under the square root. So it will be 4, take away 4 times 7 times -10 equal 284. Square root of 284, and then divide by 14. Now, do we have a square root of 284? No, so we're gonna just leave it like that for now. Okay, later you're gonna learn how we can simplify. Okay, so 284, yeah, we can simplify this, and then you can simplify the whole thing, but for now we're just gonna leave it there. All right, okay, all right, so that's how you use the quadratic formula. Okay, but now we are going to see where the formula is coming from. Okay, so we're gonna say the quadratic formula. Okay, this time we're gonna be using a little bit of algebra. Okay, so be ready. Okay, so if you really want to learn, you will. Okay, but you need to be patient, and you need to pay attention to all little details. The good thing about videos is that you can stop at any time, you can rewind it and look at it again. Okay, so you can do that many times until you fully understand what happened. Okay, so you need to pay attention. So here we go. Okay, so we are going to show that the formula that we are using is correct, and I'm going to show you where this is coming from. Okay, so this is the statement. So we're going to say if ax squared plus b x plus c equal 0, then x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, so that is my mathematical statement. And then we're going to prove it. Okay, so I'm going to say prove. Okay, next one you need to be careful and pay attention. Okay, so make sure that you sit comfortably. Okay, and make sure that you can hear properly, and then make sure that you don't get distracted by any noise, because now you need to pay full attention. Okay, so here we go. So prove. We're going to start by writing the equation. So I'm going to say ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0. Okay, and then what we are going to do, we are going to change that to a monic. Okay, so at this moment we have a non-monic. Okay, we are assuming that a is not equal to 1. And then what we are going to do, we are going to divide everything by a. So we divide everything by a, then we're going to have x squared plus b over ax, then plus c over a equal 0. Okay, so that is the first thing that you have to do. So you've got to divide by a. And in here, we're going to state that a is not equal to 0. Okay, that's why we can divide by a. So if a equals 0, that's it. Can't do anything. Okay, and then we are going to, believe it or not, but we are going to complete the square. Okay, so we are going to do what we did before. We are going to complete the square, and this is how you do it. All right. So we're going to move this c over a to the other side. So we do x squared plus b over a x is equal to negative c over a. Okay, so that's what we did before by completing the square. Okay, but now we are going to divide this by 2. Okay, so we divide this by 2. All right, when you divide something by 2, it's like you multiplying it by a half. Okay, so divide by 2 is equivalent to say multiply by a half. So I'm gonna put the step in here so then we can see what is going on. So we're gonna divide this by 2, so we're gonna multiply this by a half. So let's multiply this. Okay, and when you multiply this by a half, then you're gonna have b times 1 is just b, and then a times 2 is just 2a. All right, so that is divide by 2. And then we are going to square this. Okay, that was always the procedure. So it's divide this by 2 and then square the answer. So now we're going to square the answer. So we're going to have all right, so let's square the answer. So if you square the answer, then we're going to have b square is b square, and 2a square is going to be 4a square. Right, I guess I'm going to put a bracket in here. Okay, I did this because this is what we're going to be adding to both sides. Okay, so let's recap and see what we did. So when completing the square, the first thing that we have to do is to move this over the other side. That is what we did. And then we say that we need to divide this by 2. we divide this by 2, which is equivalent to multiplying it by a half. And when you divide this by 2, then the answer is b over 2a. And then the next thing that we did before is to square the answer. Okay, so we're going to square this, and when you square this, then you're going to have b squared, and then when you square this, then the answer is 4a squared. And that is what we're going to be adding to both sides of this expression. Okay, so then we're going to say x squared plus b over ax. Now I'm going to be adding b squared over 4a squared, but then I need to add that also to the other side. All right. Okay, so I'm going to let you look at the expression for a few seconds, and then you can rewind the video to hear again the explanation. But now we are going to continue. Okay, so we know that this trinomial now is a perfect square. And in here we always do x and then plus this divided by 2, which is this. So we're going to put b over 2a, and then a square is equal to. And then in here I'm gonna make a few changes. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to put this back to front. So I'm going to put b squared over 4a squared at the front, and then minus c on a. But then on my head also, I really want to have the same denominator. Okay, so in here I have only a, and in here I have 4a squared. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to amplify this by 4a, but let's do this one first. So I'm going to put this at the front, and then is the amplification of this. So because I really want to have the same denominator, I need to multiply a by 4a. But if I do so, then I need to multiply the top by 4a. So we're going to do 4ac, and then I'm going to have 4a squared. Okay, so all what I did is just to multiply this, the top and the bottom, by 4a. So then we have the same denominator. Right. And then let's continue. So then we're going to have x plus b over 2a squared is going to be equal to, now I can put this together, so it's going to be b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And this is looking good already, because in the formula I have this b squared minus 4a, and then we need to get this. Okay, so this is what we are up to. Okay, the next step is to square root both sides. So when you square root this side, then we have only x plus b over 2a. All right, and now we're gonna square that one, so plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. And then see what happens. So we're going to have x plus b on 2a is equal to plus or minus. Now we cannot simplify the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so the top line will keep the square root, squared minus 4ac, but the bottom can be simplified. The square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of a squared is just a. All right, so we cannot simplify the square root of b squared minus 4ac, so we just keep the square root, but we can simplify the square root of 4a squared. Okay, so the square root of 4 is just 2, and the square root of a squared is just a. Okay, and then we're gonna move this over the other side, so we're gonna have minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a, and then bingo, we have the same denominator, so we can put them together, and therefore we're going to have minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a, which is the quadratic formula. All right, now I know that this was a little bit mathematical, but because you are in year 10 and you are smart people, you can digest all this. Okay, it requires a little bit of algebra, but it's something that you can understand. Okay, so the statement says that if you have this quadratic equation, then the answer for x is given by this expression, and here you have the proof step by step. Okay, and what you should do, you should redo this proof many times until you understand every single step. Okay, so this here in the big bracket is just an explanation of where this is coming from. Okay, so this is the missing term from this trinomial. Okay, and then you go from here, and then you go all the way down until you show that the formula is actually true. Okay, and like I say, you need to redo this many times until you fully understand every single step. Okay, but it's basically a simplification and adding and subtracting fraction and square root, something. Okay, but that is how you chose the formula, and then you can even bubble the answer. Okay, because this is the formula that you're going to be using all the time. All right, so I'm going to stop in here, and then you're going to be doing some more questions. You should be able to do now. I'm going to put some questions that you should do. Okay, so now you should be able to do all these questions, absolutely all of them, using the quadratic formula. Okay, now in here, in this booklet, they show you this example, and then in here they show you the solution using the formula. Okay, you have the formula, and in here they show you the completing the square. Now, can you see that? Yeah, the formula is great. Okay, because you know that it works and is basically substitution. But sometimes completing the square is shorter and is cleaner. Okay, so you can see these two working for the same equation. Okay, so this is completing the square, and obviously you get the same answer. But what you are going to do, you should attempt this question. All right, you should attempt all these questions, and obviously in here you're gonna have to, you know, expand, manipulate the expression until it looks like, you know, one of the generic one. Okay, so obviously here you're gonna have to expand, simplify, and bring this 12 to the left and simplify. Here, same thing. Okay, so if you want to use the formula, then you need to expand, simplify, and same for this question. All right, so you need to go from something like this to something like this. Okay, so all you have to try to put everything like this one. Okay, same structure. Okay, so we're gonna stop the video here, and then my advice is to have a go and see if you can do this question.